Previously, in the anime, we saw that Kanata was labeled as a traitor for some reason, and he was assigned to teach the weakest class in the history of the Sky Wizard Academy, Team E601. Those three girls themselves don't believe they could ever win, but Kanata started to teach them from the scratch. But Riko wasn't interested in the training at all because she believes she's a goddess and mortals like Kanata couldn't teach her anything. So Kanata leaves her be and started to train only Mizora and Lecty, and suddenly Riko got interested and started to spy on them. Well, Riko's sister was a famous sky wizard and she always wanted to catch up to her, but while she was in the shower she saw something and as a result she got late for school. Well, what she saw was herself and she became mesmerized by her own divine beauty, so Kanata was legitimately concerned for her mental health, but anyways, their team was going up against another E-team. But Riko didn't want to play in this match, so Kanata didn't force to participate, and gets to Mizora and Lecty, but their Mizora tells Kanata that they had some personal matter they had to attend. So Kanata left, then Mizora and Lecty gets to Riko to convince her to join them in their training and participate in their upcoming ranking match. Riko had no plan to do that, so Mizora gets on her knees to beg her, but their Kanata picked her up so to not beg to Riko for this. Kanata told Mizora that he had a technique for her with which she could win. Kanata quickly took her to the sky and brought out his black sword. He then demonstrates the moves, which had a significant destruction power, and since Mizora had the same type of cannon sword like him, Kanata begins to teach her that technique and she had the similar amount of fire, but it drained almost half of her mana. But their Mizora saw that Kanata was also recovering even though he was an experienced sky wizard, but aside from them, Riko was keeping an eye on them even now. She kept watching that whole day while Kanata was training Lecty. She realized just from watching that Lecty and Mizora has improved in the combats. And suddenly, Kanata gets to her and saw she kept her glasses on to activate her power of clairvoyance to observe everything. So Riko told Kanata that his plan to use Mizora and her power won't work in the match, because it takes time to prepare, which leaves her wide open. She was precisely right. Kanata told Riko he wants her and Lecty to support and act as a team while Mizora prepared her attack. And for that Kanata even requested her to join them because Riko had ability to make strategies and quick decision, which could be very helpful. So from the next day on, Riko joined them on their training to participate in the match. Then the day comes for the ranking match and the girls were prepared for the fight. But the red alert was announced to take shelter and be prepared because a huge tide of demon beetles had shown up in the premises. The entire Sky City was on high alert, so the girls and others evacuated the normal citizens to the shelters. But Lecty found a lost girl in the streets and thought of evacuating her to a nearby shelter, but it was already too late for that, since the demon beetle has arrived. Their Mizora got confidence in her powerful move that she fired it to take out all the beetles in the site, but sadly she even destroyed her own cafe and the area. But at least she saved and reunited the lost kid to her mother, but then, a large chimera showed up. So Furin ordered Sky Wizards to kill it immediately because if the chimera gets killed other beetles were sure to leave the city, but even after killing it, there was one more chimera somewhere in the area, so Riko used her clear sight to find out that chimera's location, and somewhere away from there. Yuri was concerned about the city seeing that many beetles, but Chloe and Lloyd told Yuri to relax since Kanata will take care of that. As for Kanata, he told the kids to take out that chimera. The girls rejected the idea but realizes they were training to become Sky Wizard to save the normal folks, so they believes on Kanata and head into the battle. They were doing great taking out those bugs and Mizora took out those bugs in a single shot, but a laser got fired at her and Kanata took it upon himself to protect Mizora. There the boss beetle showed up, it destroyed the entire area and there Kanata took out his black sword to take it out himself. His speed was on a different level that not even a single ray of laser hits him, but while fighting, something dropped out from that chimera which Kanata didn't notice. There Kanata attacks the thing and displays his overwhelming power, but Kanata fall out from mana exhaustion, but the thing that dropped out was founded by this Four Eyes. It's gonna be troublesome. But aside from him, the city was saved by Kanata and the girls, and the match proceeded on the schedule. Kanata told Yuri that he's totally confident that his girls will win this match. But the results were polar opposite and he made a fun of himself in front of Yuri again. And with this loss, and for destroying a city area to fight beetles, Freon told Chloe and others that she decided to disband E601 and relieve Kanata from the position of an instructor. And for the other matters, it was the mist gun tournament, and Kanata showed the same thing to the girls. Winning team will move 2 ranks, and for this all the best team in the academy will participate. So the girls started to imagine the moment when they would win the competition. So girls thought of giving it a try at least, but there Chloe comes to call Kanata, and in the office, Freon fills him in on her decision regarding his class. But Kanata refused to leave and had decided to make those 3 girls the best sky wizard. Freon thought of it as a joke, so Kanata told her they would surely win this upcoming tournament. But the girls were eavesdropping on their talk and told Kanata to explain them. They were all depressed, so Kanata told them to get some rest for tomorrow's training. But on the other side, Freon took Lloyd, Chloe and Yuri to a secret lab where they studied those demon beetles, and guess what? The 4 Eyes named Real is the scientist in the lab. He showed them the dropped part of that chimera and the regeneration power it holds. He was enthusiastic about it, but Freon wanted to take their leave. But Real stopped them to ask Yuri if she's interested on men who are stronger than her. He read this on a magazine interview, so Yuri confirmed her taste is stronger men's. So hearing this, that dude is gonna be a pain for sure. But aside from him, Mizora, Rico and Lekti got matched to fight with an E-rank team in the tournament. But there Yuri showed up to tell Kanata she had also become an instructor and her team is participating in this tournament. So Yuri was on high horse that her students will defeat Kanata's students. So Kanata made a bet that if his girls win, Yuri will have to join him and his team. But at night, there was someone targeting sky wizards in the darkness, but it's obvious that he's the 4 Eyes. And he's doing this for Yuri, but Yuri had a crush on Kanata. It takes us on a while back, when Kanata and his team were students at this academy. That's when Yuri first meets Kanata as he saved her from an arrow. It was a ranking competition that she fell for Kanata, but after an incident where Kanata got labeled as a traitor, she started to hate him, but it's clear she still had those feelings for him. As for the girls, Rico was on her own world while Mizora was having a hard time in the training against those dummy models. But before today's training, Kanata told them he's mixing up their role in the training and only Lekti was willing to give this formation a try, but it was a clear disaster. Then after analyzing, Rico told Mizora to handle left flank, while she and Lekti are going for the right one. They were doing great, but their Yuri brought out her team only to show how great they are. But it didn't have any effects on Kanata, so her plan to look down on him got failed. Then afterwards, he gives a nice gift to the girls that Lekti and Mizora were out of breath and couldn't even move, so the massage was a reward for working extra hard in their training. Then after that, Yuri comes to Kanata to talk to him and the girls started to follow them around. Mizora wanted to get to bottom of this, so Lekti thought they were on a date, which seems to cause depression to Mizora, but Yuri got to the point and told Kanata to leave his girls because they are hopeless losers. But Kanata told her he believes in them because he and Chloe were failure just like them. But on the other side, that 4 Eyes was still targeting sky wizards by their rank. And this time he took out a B rank, and in future he will go for A rank, just to prove he's strong so that he could date Yuri. 4 Eyes had fallen for Yuri too hard that he still keeps smelling her handkerchief she unknowingly gave him, which actually makes him a complete nutjob. But our video for today has come to an end. If you want to find out what will happen next, then subscribe the channel for the latest updates. Till then, take care.